It's mid-September, and I'm in western Michigan in a secluded river. It's here, in waters barely 5 feet deep, that king salmon begin and end their incredible journey. It's a story most of us learned as kids, yet very few of us have ever seen it fish-eye view. So today, I'm going to put us boots on the ground in the Little Manistee River to see this story firsthand. The moment I get into the river, we have salmon. These are king salmon at the beginning of their journey, probably hatched out in the spring and had been living in this safe river preparing for grander things. What became very clear right away is they couldn't get enough of me. They were very curious and followed me everywhere I went. I just couldn't get rid of these guys. King salmon spend their first year of life feeding on insects, zooplankton, and very small fish until they're comfortable to leave the river to go out to the lake. Typically, they spend their first year or so in a river. I played with these guys for a good 15-20 minutes, and it gave me loads of confidence to meet the adult salmon, so I headed downriver looking forward to encountering them. And this is what I got. Oh, well, that's not going to work. A stampede of salmon is a terrifying thing to come up across. These guys are easily in the 20-pound range, with some pushing 30, charging at 25 miles an hour. That's about 35 feet a second. In a river, you can only see about 20 feet, meaning that the salmon fly past you before you can oftentimes even see them. Your best hope is you get lucky and you don't get hit. Thankfully, I brought my camera trap, and let's see how they react when I'm no longer in the water. I wonder what happened in those 3 years to make them drastically change their opinion towards scuba divers. Once salmon leave their river, they go out into the big lake and eat pretty much anything they can get their hands on, with baitfish and alewives being their preferred food. They quickly grow to monstrous sizes, coming back to their river to spawn after about 3 years or so. The Chinook salmon, or king salmon, is native to the Pacific Northwest, and they certainly didn't swim here. They were introduced by the DNR starting in 1970 and have been stocked annually ever since. They were introduced for the benefit of sports fishermen, and it shows. Millions of dollars are brought to the west coast of Michigan every year by ambitious fishermen hoping to catch a 30-pound trophy salmon. And those trophy fish are certainly out there. These guys are far larger than the Atlantic salmon I'm familiar with diving in the St. Clair River. Once they reach spawning size, they start to queue up at the mouths of rivers beginning in August, waiting for rains to drop water temperatures before they move up in the rivers. Salmon hold position and wait at what seems to be preferred spawning spots. I did not observe any spawning. I think the water temperature was too warm, but the males clearly didn't like having each other around anymore. Mixed in with the kings, and seemingly there to reward a patient eye, were brown trout, who probably also didn't appreciate all these salmon blocking their river. Here in the Great Lakes, the salmon spawning is completely different than the Pacific Northwest. For many, the journey ends here, at a salmon weir run by the DNR. Once at the weirs, the salmon are harvested on the spot or put in holding pens, where they wait for days before they're harvested for their eggs and milk. While it is an unnatural and certainly not romantic way for salmon to go out, you gotta remember, they were never native to the Great Lakes to begin with. Most of these fish were born in a hatchery, and it's only fitting that they return to die in one. This isn't the end for all the salmon though, as some escape the weir and continue heading upriver where they reproduce naturally. Since the beginning, approximately 15% of Michigan salmon are wild-born, and that number increases every year. But whether they escape or are harvested, for all of them, this is the end of the journey. But these lucky salmon get to go out on their own terms. I ended my last dive with this, a king salmon at the end of its journey, surrounded by those on the beginning of theirs. The full cycle of life, beginning and ending once again. Stay safe, dive often.